Negotiations to end the 3-year Russia-Ukraine war will begin as soon as possible.
Yeah, let's go.
President Donald Trump made the announcement after a phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin yesterday.
Trump is moving quickly to lay the groundwork for negotiations. European leaders say he might be moving too fast. Dale Hurd has this.
There's not a such thing as moving too fast to stop a war, to stop casualties, to stop all the bombing,
stop death,
the death that's going on. It's not a such thing as moving too fast if you could try to stop or slow it down.
Yeah, and reach some type of result.
Yeah.
Story.
Trump spent 90 minutes on the phone with Russian President Vladimir Putin, with the two leaders agreeing to start negotiations immediately to end the war between Russia and Ukraine.
Stop stuff like that.
I also had with President Zelensky a very good call after that. And I think we're on the way to getting peace. I think President Putin wants peace, and President Zelensky wants peace, and I want peace. I just want to see people stop getting killed.
The president said his first sit-down with Putin could be in Saudi Arabia soon, but also suggested he may go to Russia and that Putin might come to the United States.
I'll be dealing with President Putin largely on the phone, and we ultimately expect to meet. In fact, we expect that he'll come here and I'll go there and we're going to meet.
Trump indicated his second.
It's like good in this term he could actually work with Putin. You know, his first term it was all about Russia whole season. He's in bed with the Russians. He's getting money with the Russians. But all that been put to the bed the last 4 years. So now he can really do his job and don't got to worry about people saying that you're a part of it with Putin.
Absolutely.
Second meeting will be with Ukrainian President Zelensky, who posted this photo of the phone call on X, saying no one wants peace more than Ukraine. As President Trump said, let's get it done. In a meeting with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, Zelensky said,
I'm thankful to the president, to his message that he will support Ukraine and he really wants to stop this war. And I know that he's a strong man, and I'm sure that he will push Putin.
Trump also indicated Ukraine would have to give up territory lost to the Russian invasion.
Well, he's going to have to do what he has to do, but
don't we all?
You know, his poll numbers aren't particularly great, to put it mildly.
Defense Secretary Pete.
That's the best way to put it. Yo, he got to do what he got to do. Whatever he got to do to put this war to end, that's just what he have to do. If you have to give up some of the land, that's just what you have to do to stop all of the casualties. Because whether you do it or not, we're not going to be sending you 50s of billions of dollars.
Yeah, you got to figure something out, and it's got to be the best solution you can come up with.
Yeah, and I'm glad he made the point about his poll numbers, because the poll numbers are the people.
Yeah.
The people not agreeing with what's going on right now. They want it to come to an end also, so you got to listen to your people and what they want.
Absolutely first.
Numbers aren't particularly great, to put it mildly.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth at NATO headquarters also all but ruled out Russia having to return Crimea to Ukraine, which Russia invaded and annexed in 2014.
We must start by recognizing that returning to Ukraine's pre-2014 borders is an unrealistic objective.
Wow.
Chasing this illusionary goal will only prolong the war and cause more suffering.
This is similar to what Zelensky himself said earlier this year and at the end of last year, that it's not realistic. Ukraine doesn't have the ability to take back these territories by force. So Ukraine would be prepared to have a ceasefire and pursue the return of its territories by other means, diplomatic, political, and so forth.
NATO allies are insisting.
Just what Trump said. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
You want to lose something, but you're going to lose a lot more if you keep going down the path.
If you keep going down the path you're going,
you might lose the whole country.
Yeah.
Facts. You're going to lose some of it or all of it.
Yeah, do you want to see everybody exterminated?
Yeah, without this funding that we're giving you, and we're not giving you no more funding, what are you going to do?
And you definitely wasn't thinking about a ceasefire, like, substantial amount of time.
Yeah.
You're just trying to meet in the middle here.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
So why don't you use the time to actually meet in the middle?
Yeah, that's what it's about.
That Europe and Ukraine not be cut out of the peace negotiations. And Zelensky says he'll reject any deal that doesn't include Ukraine's input. Hegseth stressed the U.S. commitment to NATO and says the negotiations are not a betrayal of Ukrainian soldiers defending their nation. Meanwhile, in a historic move, Ukraine has established an annual National Day of Prayer. The date? February 24th, the anniversary of the Russian invasion. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Thank you, Dale. CBN's senior international correspondent George Thomas has made many trips to Ukraine reporting on the war. He joins us now. George, what's the reaction from your Ukrainian contacts to this announcement?
A key pastor in Kyiv this morning, Andrew, sent me this note. He says, "We are broken by the cynical policy towards Ukraine. Of course, we want the war to stop, but we know that Russia cannot be trusted. They always violate all agreements. We keep praying and believing for a just peace for Ukraine." Another person said, "We have no illusions."
What terms was Russia violating? I never heard of this. Like, this is news to me.
Yeah, I'm like, man, look. And it becomes very shaky ground. Because to be totally honest, it just seems like, depending on what party is in place,
Yes.
how communication goes with Russia.
Yes.
Because the first time President Trump was in office, there was communication between him and Putin.
Yes.
You know,
They tried to stop it, though.
Yeah, it was less communication
Yeah.
when Biden was in office
Yeah.
with Putin.
Yes.
And now Trump is back in office and they're talking about visiting nations.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So what the hell is he talking about?
I was wondering the same thing. I'm confused.
Just peace for Ukraine. Another person said, "We have no illusions about the world and its values and priorities. We have lots of peacemakers, but very few allies. Everyone wants the war to end. But if you think that you're going to solve this by compromising with Russia, you need to know you don't understand them. They are just postponing this. They want to give Russia enough time to recover, and then they will attack us again." And
I mean, that's just an opinion. Like everyone said, Trump said, Levinsky said, and Putin said, we all want this to stop. When you got three people on the same page that want the same goal, it's not that hard to really work out the terms to make everybody happy, so we could put this to bed.
Well, if you asked me, who's he more vested in, the Ukraine or Russia, based off the color of his tie, I would say Ukraine.
Yeah. Oh. Crazy.
Russia enough time to recover, and then they will attack us again. And a leading opinion in one of Ukraine's largest newspapers and widely held newspapers says, "God bless America, but God help Ukraine and Europe fend for themselves."
Wow, the U.S. position is...
We tired of fending for y'all.
Yeah, it happens over and over again in America, where we get in these situations and we play the ally role, and we help out, and we help out, and we help out, and it ends up bad for our military, and people not making it home.
Yes.
Take care of home base.
Yes. Who's better to defend you than you? Someone else supposed to be doing it.
You know the land. You know who you're in conflict with.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Stand on something.
Yeah.
Because I don't see nobody. I've yet to see somebody try to assist us with any of the issues that are going on
right here. We have to defend ourselves.
We're constantly shelling out.
Yes. And it's like time we noticed a correlation, and time we got involved in this Ukraine-Russia war, that's when everything spiked. That's when all the prices went up over here. We're tired of it. We don't want nothing to do with that. We want stuff to come back down. And as long as we giving people $177 billion for their country, we're paying the tag on that. We got to deal with inflation for that, not them.
No NATO membership for Ukraine. No U.S. troops in Ukraine. And Ukraine should concede some of the land lost to Russia. How does this affect Ukraine's bargaining position?
Yeah, I mean, I think, Andrew, on the face of it, it does sound pretty awful that Ukraine really comes to the table really behind the 8 ball. But I think what Pete Hegseth and the president have always said...
When somebody is financing everything you got going on over there, you're behind the 8 ball.
You're already behind.
You're already behind. You don't even have the finances to keep this going on your own. How are you not behind the 8 ball? If we pulled on finances, where are you really behind at that point?
What are you really behind? Where do you really stand?
Yeah.
You don't go to battle without a checkbook.
Yeah, you need that.
A blank checkbook.
Yes. Facts.
the 8 ball. But I think what Pete Hegseth and the president have always said, this is about getting an immediate ceasefire. So in these negotiations to get to that ceasefire, obviously talking about Ukraine entering NATO is a non-starter for the Russians. The whole idea of going back to the
Why would Russia want NATO right there on their borders? We wouldn't want Russia to be putting something right there in Mexico.
Yeah.
Right on our border.
Or on the Canadian border.
You are a threat if you're on my border.
2014 border lines is also a non-starter, and the idea of deploying U.S. troops on the ground, again, this is the whole idea. The main focus of the Trump administration, and has been from the get-go of the campaign, has been to create the environment for an immediate ceasefire, and this is what the negotiations that the Trump administration has said will start immediately, is to get to this point, and these other issues will be dealt with later.
What about defending Ukraine?
Let's start with the ceasefire.
Yeah.
Let's stop people from killing each other and bombing each other. Then we can negotiate. There could be no negotiations.
We cannot communicate verbally while people are getting shot
and bombed.
No,
Yes.
something has to stop.
Yes.
And then we can start to talk.
Yes.
Ukraine. Are NATO and European nations going to step up and do so?
Look, I think what Pete Hegseth did yesterday at the Munich Security Council is to really send a very, very new message from this administration, that the United States' priority is no longer on the security of Europe. In fact, he went on to say that the Europeans should create this sort of shared labor. It's in your neighborhood. You guys need to take care of this. You need to provide the security guarantee for Ukraine. Zelensky said within hours of President Trump's phone call with Putin, says there is no condition that we can guarantee our own security with the Europeans unless the United States.
We're not going to ask you, in the U.S. of A., we're not going to ever ask you to defend our borders.
Never.
We're not going to ask you to defend our people.
Never.
From us helping and assisting all these other countries,
Yes.
is the reason why we have allies. So if we ever needed
Yes.
assistance, they should be here.
Yes.
Where the hell have they been? Because when we see people starving, we send help.
Yes.
When we see people in crisis, we send help.
Yes.
Our people have been in crisis.
Yes.
They're observing and saying, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah. We just had a crisis with the LA fires.
And they're seeing it. Are they sending help?
Did they send any aid?
Did they send any aid?
I know the people there got $700 a piece. That was from us. What other aid?
That was internal aid.
Yeah. What other aid went their way?
Yeah,
We have to
it
fend for
really makes
ourselves.
you think, because the idea that we keep shelling out help and support,
Yes.
and we're not getting any
In return.
that's not showing me you're an ally.
Nah, it's a one-sided relationship.
a one-sided
And
relationship.
at this point, the American people are just tired of the one-sided relationships. That's not how it goes. Definitely a crazy situation. I'm glad he definitely was on the phone with them to get the ceasefire in place, because you gotta start there.
Got to start somewhere.
You gotta start there first. Before we get out this video, if you didn't like, subscribe, or leave a comment, make sure you do that.
Do that.
Until our next video, it's Tremaine Jones,
It's Lamar Wilson.
and we out.